Even with our best efforts at being organized, it's sometimes difficult to still keep track of the many dependencies used on a simple project. So we developed Shino to help with that. Shino is a Blender project management add-on suitable for individuals and small teams, and with it we can always stay organized on our projects. In this video we're going to show you a couple of its features and how it works. So we install it like we install any normal Blender add-on. We go to Preferences and then search for the name Shino and then just enable it. After that, all you need to do is put in here the location of where your projects will be saved, and that's all. The add-on is ready to use. Now when we go to the add-on, the user interface is very easy to navigate, and we're greeted with a bunch of simple buttons. So the first thing we want to do is add a project to our repository. So to do that, we click this plus button here and create a project name. Let's call it ARA, A-R-A. So doing that, then we can now add assets or shots to our projects. So assets are the props, characters, and environments used in our project, and shots are, well, shots. So let's start by creating some assets. So we have a drop down here and we can select the kind of asset we want to create. It's neatly organized for us to always be able to follow through with. So let's create a character and then click the plus sign button to add a new character. Now when you click this button, we are required to enter the name of the assets. So we'd say Ade Remy, and then if you want you can add some description, which I will not. Click OK, and then we've created a new asset. After creating our assets here, the first thing we can do is just to click this launch icon here and we're able to open it. You have the option to load the file with the UI and to save the current file that's open. There's no current file open, so we'll just go with the load UI, and then we have our scene. The name is aderemi.blend. We can save this file and we can see a nice red icon here showing us that this file is unpublished. One thing about Shino is that it's able to manage versions of your file. So rather than save your files with aderemi_0102.final, you could work on your files and then publish them with descriptions that help you maintain a clean track record of exactly what milestones you want to go back to. So for this one, I would indicate that we added Aderemi's head by clicking this publish button here and adding the message. Once we click OK, this file is published and the icon here has changed to a green check mark. To check the versions of our files that we have published, we can go to this version log button here. When we click on it, it shows the message that we added and the date we published this. Let's go ahead and make modifications to this particular file. Let's give Aderemi a neck. Nice long neck. And then when we save the file, we can go ahead and publish. Again. This time with a different message saying added a neck. Now, if we go back to our version log, we can see we have two entries here. The first one where we added the head and the next one where we added the neck. So if we click on the first one and click update to selected version, click OK, we can see we have our version where there was only the head here. So we can roll back to this version at any point in time, or we can go back to the previous version or the latest version of the file that we had. Essentially now, there's no need to save multiple versions of the same file. And this is the same with your props, your environments, or even your shots. So we've gone ahead and created all the assets for our project, and we have a library loaded with a bunch of different assets. Here, Aderemi is completed, and let's take a look at some of the other props. We have a row of shops. Let's see what that looks like. We have a transformer station. Let's see what that looks like. And we also have a second row of shops. Now, we could go to the environment file and see that we have actually linked all these assets into that particular asset. Now what we want to do is create a shot where Aderemi is on this street. So we'll go to the shots and then add a new shot. Let's call it carnival shot. You can add a description if you want to, and then just like that, our shot is created. And our shot is created. So if we launch this file, we have the default cube as usual. Let's go ahead and link in the streets as well as Aderemi from the other libraries in our project. So we'll navigate to the assets, check the character, and then from here just click on this link icon, and then we can browse through all the materials, objects, and collections in this file just from where we are. So we're looking for an asset, a library called Aderemi. We can link that by clicking the link button, and it appears in our scene. Let's go ahead and do the same for the streets. So we'll navigate to the props, or rather the environment, and then browse through, click the link button, and then we can see a list of collections in that file. We're looking for a collection called streets. Click that and we'll link it in. And just like that, we're able to keep track of all the libraries in our files. And all this time we haven't opened the file explorer once. So we've gone ahead and set up our shots, and at this point you might as well go and create a version entry for this by clicking the publish icon, and then set up shots, click OK, and we have a green check mark. In some cases you might have a file that was created outside of the project and you want to bring that into your project without having to navigate through the directories. So we can easily open the file, click the category of library that we want to add it to. In this case, we want it to be in our assets and we want it to be a prop. And once we have that, we have this import active file button here. Once we click it, we are prompted to write a name for our file. Let's call it mask. And then you can click save file and launch after creation. Click OK. It appears as though nothing happened, but Shino has already imported this file into our project and launched it for us. As you can see here in the asset list, it's already one of the items we have here. When working on a project, we might have a bunch of maps or textures that are in different locations on our system. We have this neat button here called Consolidate Maps, and when we click it, what Shino does is it fetches all the maps associated to this file, to this particular asset, and consolidates it into the project structure, so we don't have to look for it all over our file explorer. I click the Consolidate Map button, we are prompted, and once we click Consolidate, and we see at the bottom here that the maps have been consolidated to this file. There's a bunch of other new features that we're working on at the moment. For example, ability to import and export a single project or the entire repository, and also the ability to export one asset with its entire version history. Shino is for small teams and individuals. If you're looking for something more for a studio setup, you can check out Nagato.